Hey again, guys. Do you know what I like to do when my man Shannon from Back to the Cardboard comes back to YouTube? I like to look at some baseball cards. I've added another set that I did not have, and I want to show it to you. But before I do, I was watching a live last night. Well, I was listening to it because I got into the mood to come up here and organize my cards and clean up a little bit. I have a tendency, as I'm sure many of you do too, I get when I get packages and I take them out of whatever they come in and I put them in different fresh brand new holders and stuff, little remnants stack up on my table where I do that, and where I have all my holders and my sleeves and my light and everything. And those little slivery plastic things, on the Perfect Fit sleeves. Those things stick to everything, and I find them all over the house. They stick to the bottom of my foot, and then you try to get them off, and they're like static, and you can't get them off. And so I know my man Jason. He did a video, Mr. Fisherbike, where he puts down tape, and as he peels them off, he sticks it to the tape, and it comes off his hands. And that's brilliant. And I need to do that. But anyway, last night I was in one of those moods where I just wanted to come upstairs and organize, put cards away that I had shown and I have laying around. And I worked on a binder that I had where, I keep cards in sleeves inside 9 pocket pages for like rookie cards and stuff, and some of my binders that I have, my sets, and I got some PSA fork pocket pages that fit the PSA cards, and I wanted to take a moment and do my 1979 set because I had those laying around for a while, so I wanted to do that. And then when I went in there, I noticed I still had cards in top loaders in the 4 pocket pages from when I was young. They were yellowing and they had like the rookie card top loader. So I redid all those, and I couldn't find my 4 pocket pages. They weren't where I thought, and I had to go through several different boxes, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was ready to order some, and then I found them sitting on top of something out in the open, like ready to grab, which I had put them there so they'd be convenient, but I forgot I did that. So I found my stack of those. So I put those all together, and I was reholdering a bunch of cards, and I was listening to this live from Negro Leaguers in Puerto Rico, and it was fantastic. And they did a feature on Bus Clarkson. And Bus Clarkson is, from my home area, and I used to hang around with this kid back home and drink some Jack and Cokes, and he drank Jack and Cokes too, so we kind of hit it off that way. And he plays baseball with a friend of mine, so I got to know him, and I played softball with a couple of his friends, so we'd be out drinking and stuff. But anyway, it is Bus Clarkson's nephew, and he's still playing baseball in his 50s now. So he's from our home area, and they were talking about him, making an argument for the Hall of Fame for him. But they gave some information that I never knew. And Rudolph, Lou Rock, Clemente Collector, I don't know if you knew this, but Bus Clarkson was Roberto Clemente's first manager in the Puerto Rican League. And I never knew that. And what's interesting is Oscar Charleston was Bus Clarkson's first manager. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, on to the new card that I added. It's my man George Foster. And, in 1977, George Foster hit 52 home runs. Now, hitting 50 home runs used to be a very big deal. Very few people did it. In fact, before George Foster did it, it hadn't been done since 1965 when Willie Mays hit 52 home runs. So that's how rare hitting 50 home runs used to be. So I got this George Foster, and this is an Icy Drinks from 1976, and the set consists of only Cincinnati Reds. So these were sold in the Cincinnati area. Well, I assume they were, since they're all Reds. And how they were distributed, and I want to point this out, oftentimes when you see people sell these, and they're not that readily available, but when you see people sell them and list them, oftentimes they'll call them icy lids. And they're obviously not lids. They're not nearly big enough, if you ever had an icy, to be a lid. That's not what they are. So those sellers just don't know where they came from. There was a large sheet, and it had openings for, I think there were 12 different players, I believe. And you would collect these, and when you got a icy, I always preferred the Slurpees. Those were way better than the icies. But when you got an icy, they would give you one of these, and then you would keep them and fill up this board. It was a big card, oversized card. And when you got them all, you could take them in, and you got a free large icy, and you got registered to win free Cincinnati Reds tickets. There is a full sheet with all of these in them on eBay right now. And I'd love to have it, but the seller's asking $450 for it. If you're watching, I mean, if you bring that down to a reasonable amount, I'd buy it. But these are not something you see every day. The one thing I don't know about them, and if any of you do know, let me know. Because on the card itself, it says that you could bring these all back to get your free icy, but it says, don't worry, you can keep the cards and the card. So you got that back. So I'm wondering how they knew that, you know, if you turned it in, they had to do something to it, so you couldn't keep turning it in every day. So I don't know what that is. Oftentimes they'll put a hole punch, or they'll mark it or something. And I don't know the story of that. So if any of you do, please let me know. And this is fitting for Shannon from Back to the Cardboard, as he's a Reds fan. And Shannon, you might even know. Maybe you got these as a kid. But pretty cool. PSA does grade these. They do list them correctly as icy drinks and not icy lids. They have only ever graded 20 George Fosters. And haven't graded too many in the set, but you know, quite frankly, I think most people haven't graded these, so there's probably way more out there. But a unique piece, and these are blank back. And it must have been fun as a kid to get these, because I remember Dairy Queen had helmets, and you'd buy a sundae and a helmet, and then when I got them all, I went and stayed with my two cousins. They were females, and I would make them walk all over their town to the Dairy Queen, which was very far away, and make them get sundaes with me. So I'd get 3 hats at a time, and back home I would go like every day and get a sundae until I got all the hats, and then you could go back and buy a big holder for them. And I had that for years in my room, and I'm still looking to get one because I don't know whatever happened to it. My mom must have thrown it away, or maybe it was in such bad shape I might have thrown it away, but I don't throw anything away, so I really don't think I threw it away. And if I did, I would have kept the helmets. But they had the brackets, and you could keep whoever won the pennants and whoever won the World Series. And I had that in my room for years, and I remember having it in my parents' basement. And at some point, it just wasn't there anymore. So I imagine that little kids probably chased these the way that I chased those Dairy Queen helmets. It was probably very fun for them. I know it would have been fun for me if they had the Pirates when I was growing up. So that's what I have for you. Thanks for watching. Shannon, welcome back.